I'm Kirsten Haas, Director of Membership Services for the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance, and I'm joined today by Pam Shupp, who is our Executive Vice President and COO of the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance. So welcome, Pam.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your professional journey and how you got to the GRCA, because you used to be the Vice President of the Greater Reading Economic Partnership.
I was. So Berks County is my home. I am a Berks County native, and my career took me out of state for a few years. But my family was all here. And so I came back. A friend of mine had told me about a position that was available with the Economic Partnership, and I decided to end my traveling career and come back home to my roots and come to work for the Economic Partnership. And through the evolution of that organization, we decided to merge with the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Greater Berks Development Fund, and our own organization, which by then was called the Greater Reading Economic Partnership. And when all of those came together, I then became the COO and EVP of that organization.
Excellent. So how did you get involved in the economic development field?
So early on in my career, I started my career with the City of Reading. And I was a zoning officer and then became a community development specialist and worked on housing rehabilitation projects, economic development projects. And by the time I left the City of Reading, I was the director of community and economic development and the redevelopment authority. So I really evolved into that because managers that I had really were wonderful mentors to my career, and I have such a passion for Berks County and Reading being my home community that it was always such a luxury to be able to work in my home community and be able to just help create jobs and rehabilitate houses and renovate buildings in our community and just make sure that there was an economic vitality to Berks County.
So you're obviously very passionate about what you do. What is there a sole motivator that just drives you forward in that passion?
Probably every day when I'm coming to work and I see people, because one of the things that you can redevelop the physical environment all day long, but it's people that occupy the jobs and the houses and that are your coworkers, and developing those relationships has really been the driver for me in being able to do what I do every day. There's never really been a time where I've had an experience that said, wow, I wouldn't want to do this again, because there's always someone who's appreciative and grateful or really talented, like all of my colleagues here at GRCA, and it really feeds the passion that I have for my community.
So you've been here most of your life and you've continued to work in this field. What keeps you going when there are times when things aren't going so well? Because I mean, you've no doubt seen cycles of great prosperity and cycles of not so great prosperity. So what keeps you wanting to move forward with the efforts?
One of the things that happened recently when we recruited a company here called Carbon Light, which is a plastic-to-plastic recycling company, is looking at someone's perspective of our community from outside of the community. And they look at us and they say, wow, look at this. You have this great business community here. There are wonderful people. Everyone we've met has been so nice and welcoming. And I'm like, yeah, we are. And so when you start feeling a little bit down, like, oh gosh, is this really all worth it? And all of a sudden you get that perspective and it lifts you right back up again.
That's always good to hear, because as someone who's not from Berks County but has lived here a long time, you always hear from people who are from here, and you don't always hear about the good stuff that's going on.
That's right.
It is always good to hear about it, and it makes you think, wow, I do live in a fantastic place. So what keeps you in Berks County?
So being born and raised here, my entire extended family actually is still in Berks County. And so I probably won't venture too far afield. I'm not going to be one of those folks who retires and is like, oh, I'm headed to Florida. I'm probably headed right here in Berks County. So family is so important to me. And I know that a lot of people can deal with the fact that their grandchildren are far away. I don't have any as of yet. But I think that when I do, I really just want to create the environment here that they can take advantage of, because we will continue to be a great place to live and work in Berks County.
Excellent. So outside of the family connection, what is your favorite thing about living in Berks County?
So, being raised Pennsylvania Dutch, I have to say that food is a very big part of our culture.
Yep.
And one of the things that I just absolutely love about being here, and when you travel somewhere else, you really appreciate it, coming back home, is the direct farm to market stands that we have available, yes, and being able to take advantage of all of the fresh and seasonal produce. Right. And that to me is just an incredible benefit of being here, and agreed, I'd be here regardless. But just love that particular component of having everything right at your back door.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon. We very much appreciate it.
Thanks for the questions.